Hello beautiful people, hope you're good. You're welcome to my channel. If you're joining me for the first time, what I do here, I talk about life related issues which are designed to inspire a positive change by changing the narrative from my little corner. And I consider this change of narrative a process. My name is Uche Akomas and you're welcome to Thought Central with Uche. Please, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, could you kindly subscribe now? And of course, turn on the notification bell so that once I release new videos, you will get notifications. You can follow me on Instagram at Uche Jessica Akomas, at Uche Jessica Akomas, UCHEJESSICAAKOMAS. Alright, so today is going to be interesting as we're going to ask those questions we need to ask our intended before marriage. I did say that I will bring up this series where we'll talk about questions that we need to ask our intended, the questions we need to ask, and I have a lot of them. But the truth is a lot of people go into marriage without asking certain questions. And these things go into marriage to wait for them and stare them hard in the face. So what are those questions you need to ask your intended? Those hard questions, those deep questions. Have those deep, honest conversations before marriage. Because these things are very important. So these questions enable you build a stable and thriving marriage. Recently, I saw a post on Instagram about a man who was complaining that his wife was being insensitive. He was going through some, hard times financially, and he said his wife is not being considerate and all of that. Then later on, the wife responded that a man wouldn't lift a finger to help her do anything. Yes, at some point she took in and had to fly abroad to give birth. And the man, when he came to see her, this is a woman that had just given birth, and he wouldn't help her, he wouldn't do anything in the house. And when she eventually got a help or a nanny to help, he said he didn't want anybody, a stranger, in their home. So these are the kind of things that you don't talk about while you're courting, and they go into marriage to wait for you and stare at you in the face. So what are those questions? Number one is, what does marriage mean to you? Now, a lot of times I see this when men propose to ladies, ladies go, they're all over the place, drooling and everything. Oh yes, I'll marry you. But before you say yes to that guy, you need to ask him when. When are we getting married? Because what I find is that some guys, they just ask the question, buy engagement ring and engage the ladies in their lives without in plan of getting married to them. So before you say yes to that guy's proposal, ask the question, when are we getting married? And if it's someone who is really, really interested in getting married to you, he will give you a plan. He will tell you, okay, in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, we'll get married. But if you hear something like, just know that the guy isn't prepared for marriage. So one question you need to ask is, what does marriage mean to you? What is marriage to you? What does it mean to you? Is it a means to an end or an end to a means? In this part of the world, Africa, we have come to accept marriage as some kind of poverty alleviation scheme. So a poor family will be looking out for rich men to marry off their daughters to help them train the kids and take care of their needs. Is that what marriage is about? Is that what marriage is for you? You need to ask that guy, you need to ask the lady what marriage means to him or her. So another one is divorce. Do you believe in divorce? In what situation would you consider filing for a divorce? We see people get married and divorce. We see people get married and get separated. Do these people ask the questions before they head into marriage? So it is important that you ask your intended what he thinks or what she thinks about divorce. What does it mean to her? Another thing is religion. I find that religion is one of the things that, affect a lot of marriages today. Places of worship. You see a man going to a different church, you see the wife going to another church, and the children are confused. So it's important you ask yourselves, where are we going to worship? Are we going to worship in your church, in the man's church, or worship in the lady's church? What about doctrines of your church or mode of worship in your church? You need to harmonize all these things. You need to talk about these things in your courtship period. And how will the children be raised? Where will the children be raised? In a different denomination or in the same denomination? Very, very important. Okay, so this is another one that is also very important. Finance. Yes, finance is very important. This, my money is my money, his money is our money. Money ideologies, yes. And if you want to get more light on it, I did a video of that. You can look for it to check it out. Money ideologies. So what are the money ideologies of that lady? What are the money ideologies of that guy? What does he have? Financial challenges? Does he have debts that he needs to pay? Does he have people owing him? What do you think should be the sharing ratio of financial commitments in the home? Is it going to be 60, 40, 50, 50, 70, 30? The man takes 70, the woman takes 30, or the woman takes 70, or the man takes 30. What is the sharing ratio of financial commitment in the home? You need to talk about these things, because these are the things that some couples are also battling over in their marriages today. So that's number 4 question. And number 5 question is sex. Sex and sexuality. What variant of sex do you want? You remember in one of my videos I said there was this couple that got married, and on their wedding night the man requested for a threesome. Yes. And later on the woman discovered that the man will not have sex with her if he does not inflict pain on her and probably hurts her, like blood starts coming out from her body. So what is the sexual preference of that lady? Don't assume that that lady is sexually attracted to men. Don't assume that that man is sexually attracted to females. He may be a bisexual. She may be bisexual. People are bisexuals. People are gays, lesbians. You see all of these things play out in some marriages. So do not assume that that person only is attracted to opposite gender. You also need to know that. And beyond the questions, you also need to observe. What variants of sex? Yes, I talked about that. What variants of sex can you explore, or will you like to explore in marriage? Would you like to explore using sex toys in your marriage? Do you want oral sex in your marriage? You need to discuss all of these things. How often would the man want sex? How often does the woman want to have sex? Please hold on. What does she think about oral sex? Because of our conservativeness in this part of the world, and some of us that grew in certain family backgrounds that will not discuss any of these things. I mean, it's a taboo for a woman to say anything about oral sex. So you need to know what that person is comfortable with exploring. Now, children. So some people assume that every girl wants a child, or every lady wants to have kids, or every guy wants to have kids. But don't be too sure. So you need to ask, do you want children? Do you want children? Would you like to have kids? Ask the man if he wants to have kids. Ask the lady if she would like to have kids. Don't assume that because we're in Africa that everybody is okay with having kids. Some people do not want kids. How many kids would you like to have? Would you like to have 3 kids? Would you like to have 4 kids? And when do you want to start having kids? Do you want to start having kids immediately after you get married, or you want to wait for maybe for a year or 2 years or 3 years? How will your children be spaced? Now, there's this lady in my home country that growing up years, you see her kids just like this, no space. You see the woman nursing a baby, and then she's pregnant again. So you need to also find out how you want to space your children. Do you want to give 2 years gap, or 3 years gap, or a year gap? You have to decide. And then family planning. Do you want to explore family planning? For some people, they think that family planning is a taboo, is bad, because the Bible says, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and dominate it. But hey, that portion of the Bible is not just talking about procreation, just not talking about just childbirth. It's talking about being productive in every aspect of your life. God expects us to be productive in the works of our hands and what we do, not just about having kids and multiplying. So you need to also find out that man's stand or his thoughts about family planning. Does he believe in adoption? Does she believe in adoption? How about artificial insemination? How about surrogacy? Would you like to explore any of these birth methods? Should there be delay in conception in the marriage? You need to talk about these things. Do not assume that a man would welcome adoption, artificial insemination, or surrogacy. Talk about these things and agree. Another one is where to live. Now, people get married even when you're dating some, your spouse, your accessory, your significant other could be in a different city or in a different state or a different country. So when you are planning to get married, or when you have decided you want to get married, will one partner come to meet the other, or would you be doing international marriage? International marriage, that you are in Nigeria and the guy is in maybe Ghana or in the UK, or the wife is here and the guy is somewhere else. So you're doing your international marriage. So you have to decide if you're going to come meet your wife or the woman goes to meet her husband. You also need to talk about that. Which country are we relocating? Are there plans to relocate? If it's outside the country and you are in Nigeria, if the lady is in Nigeria, the guy is outside the country in some other country, is there plan to relocate to join the man after? I do not agree or support the idea of newly married couples staying apart. That's not the idea behind marriage. When God instituted marriage, it's for you to stay together, spend time before, if there is need for you even to go to another place. But those early stages, is important that you spend them together. You need to get to know yourselves better and adjust to yourselves. Okay, so what kind of apartment do you want to live in? Is it a 1-bedroom flat? Is it a 1-room apartment? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 7? Is it duplex? What kind of place, what kind of apartment would you like to stay or live in? Another one is health condition. Now, this is the part that I really need to stress. It's important that you disclose health conditions, if you have any, to your intended. The reason is you don't want to get into marriage and be confronted with a lot of surprises. And this is what has happened in some marriages today and has rocked marriages. So if you have low sperm count, if you have a weak erection, if you have fibroid, if you have any medical situation, a medical condition that can impede pregnancy or conception or affect your sexual life as a couple, please, I beg you in the name of God, discuss it with your intended. Discuss it with your fiancé, discuss it with your fiancé. It's even better that the person gets to know and decides whether to go into that marriage with you or not. And if the person decides not to go ahead with the marriage, the person is not meant for you. The person is not meant for you. If somebody takes a decision, okay, I'm not going on with this marriage because of what you disclosed to me about your health condition or what medical condition, it's okay. It's not the worst thing that can happen to you. The worst thing that can happen to anybody is to die. Like you die and die without Christ. Okay, I don't want to go into all of that now, but it's important that you discuss all of these things with your intended so that they make their decisions, make well-informed decisions based on the information they have available. Okay, so if you have terminal disease like cancer, discuss all of these things so that the people you're involved with or the person you're involved with would even manage his or her expectations, not to go into marriage and be confronted with a huge surprise. That's not good. That's wickedness.